What's going on, guys? My name's Corrupt and welcome back to another video, and this time we're doing something different, and that is because we're doing an ultimate spell guide for Clash of Clans. This covers every single town hall that uses spells from Town Hall 5 to Town Hall 12, and again, some things will vary. I'm mainly talking about, though, Town Hall 9 up to Town Hall 12, specifically because that is really where a lot of the war things and a lot of the better farming goes on. However, these will still apply to the lower end town halls. It just will definitely vary on as far as what I talk about. Now, the first spell we're going to be talking about is a lightning spell, and before I actually start going into that, I'm going to let you guys know that we're going to be starting off basic, but then going into a little bit more advanced tech with some of the spells. Not all of them, because some of them have a little bit more unique mechanics and other stuff. Now, we're going to be first starting out with a lightning spell. The lightning spell is very, very useful in terms of taking out air defenses or mortars if you're farming. And really, you want to use the lightning spells really well to a point where they will either, one, weaken buildings, such as the air defense if you're only bringing one, or you're going to be doing a zap quake. Now, a zap quake is actually going to be using 2 or more lightning spells, no more than at least 3, and 1 earthquake spell. Now, this will definitely depend. You may have to bring 2 earthquakes. However, there is on the screen going to be a chart of the zap quake. How many lightning spells, how many earthquake spells, and also how many, or what level, that they need to be in order to successfully take out an air defense. Now, this is for air defenses. This is for dragons. At Town Hall 7, you will not be able to do this. However, higher at Town Hall 8 and above, you are going to be able to do this, especially in a perfect storm at Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 10, where you can use this ability to zap quake the air defenses that are paired. And paired air defenses are diagonal right to each other, like almost one tile apart, but in a diagonal area. So that is kind of really how you use the lightning spell. And the next spell we're going to be talking about is the heal spell. Heal you unlock at Town Hall 6, and this spell is very useful in a lot of different army compositions. Early on, you're going to be using it with your giants when you're farming, or just, your giant attacks when you are doing at the lower end town halls. However, when you are using this at higher town halls, like Town Hall 9, they are going to be very, very useful in terms of different strategies. This includes stuff like Witch Slap, Hogs, Lalo. It's really, really good, and as you get higher and higher, you're going to start to see a little bit more use in that heal spell, specifically in like miners and even dragons sometimes. But again, it always definitely depends on the army composition. However, the heal spells will have this ability to heal up a large group of units, no matter if it's air, ground, or even if it's heroes. You guys can heal any unit as long as, any unit except for the siege machines. Remember, they are not affected by spells. So if you're thinking that, no, they are not affected by spells. So with the heal spell, you want to use it in an area where a lot of defenses are hitting your group of troops, or you want to use it where you know that the troops are weak and you want to heal them up so that then they're ready as they go through. This is more prevalent in hogs and miners, and even Lalo sometimes. And Lalo, you're going to usually use on the back end, or when you're going into a multi-target inferno. You just really want to make sure that you guys can use that heal spell to keep that group alive. That is your specific group, and you want to keep it alive as you start going through. Now, the next spell is going to be the Rage spell. And if you guys haven't heard, the Rage spell is getting a buff in the June update, which means that you're going to be able to get a level 6 instead of now having just a level 5 for you Town Hall 12s. Now, the Rage spell is very, very unique in terms of what it can do. Unlike a haste spell, it has a hit speed buff, and it also has a damage buff. Just like the haste, though, it will speed loons or any sort of troop in that vicinity. Now, the Rage spell works very, very well with dragons and bowlers. But again, it works with almost any troop. Maybe even goblins will benefit from it. the rage spell really allows all type of units to really hammer on through. The only things that it doesn't really do well on is going to be the lava hounds and the golems and the ice golems. They really don't need that. However, giants can still be very, very good, since a group of giants can do a lot of damage, since because they are very, very, they aren't that much housing space, which means you're going to be able to use that rage spell to rage them up to get them through defenses, since they do quite a bit of work, especially in a group. Now, this is very useful in terms of dragons because you want to get them in. Miners do a very good job because it speeds up their hit speed. Using it with loons is amazing just because they can really take out a building a little bit easier because of that damage buff, and that means that they may take one less shot to take out a defense or even another building if they're on cleanup. So you just really want to make sure that you guys can really understand that. Now, there's one unit in particular where this is going to be a little bit better on. That is going to be the healers. And because of Queen Walk, you guys can actually use that rage encompassing the healers to heal up the queen a little bit faster in times of need. This is used a lot in Queen Walk and Queen Charges, where the queen's healers are going to be able to hammer on to the queen, keep her gang healed up with the healing splash that the healers provide. Now, the next spell we're going to be talking about is going to be the jump spell. And the jump spell is a very, very unique one. You get this one at Town Hall 9 along with the free spell, but the jump spell, very similarly to the earthquake, you are going to be using it to jump into the base, unlike earthquake where it opens the base. Now, the jump spell, as its name prefer, you jump into the base, like I said, but it can go up to 9 tiles, very similarly to the earthquake, and we will talk a little bit more about that. But what the jump spell really does and provides for you is a way to get into the base with, even though it's really small, it is going to be able to get a large amount of troops, especially in a kill squad if you're not using a wall wrecker. The jump spell will provide you to enter into the base, just like in a witch slap, where you guys can do a double jump and get your bowlers a little bit deeper into the base and maybe even all the way through the base with just that jump spell. Now, sometimes you may not bring a jump spell, especially with the prevalent of siege machines going all around. So you just really want to make sure that you guys understand the army composition at Town Hall 9. It's extremely important to learn that sort of spell. Now, we're going to jump into the free spell, the first elixir spell that is only 1 housing space. Now, this spell in particular is a very, very useful one because it's only 1 housing space, which means you can hold multiple. This is more prevalent in attacks such as the Frozen Witch or P.E.K.K.A. Bobat attacks, where you are going to be using free spells to freeze up those defenses so that then they will stay stunned as the troops hit them. Now, it is almost like a stun mechanic where they will lock onto a different unit after it's frozen, which means they won't finish off on that unit, especially if they already destroy the building. So that means that you want to be able to use them at very precise times. Using them even over CC troops is a good option as well, because once you sort of get through that building, you are really through those, you can drop the poison spell and actually take them all out. So it's a very, very useful spell in terms of that. Now, another thing that you guys can use with the free spells is use them in freezing up the enemy queen, because you don't want her to move, so that means that you could definitely use it on there to freeze her up, keep her frozen there, and take her out very, very easily. Now, the next spell we have is the clone spell, and I think everyone should know what the clone spell does. Obviously, it clones units. Now, there is obviously a limit, especially now that is only 3 housing space. However, the clone spell is very useful in electron-based attacks, where you're going to be using the Electro Dragon to take out a large chunk of the base and the cloned loons go through. Now, there's another sort of use for it, using the Yolotron, where you're going to be using the Electro Dragons to get a lot of value along with the cloned Electro Dragons as they start moving in. Very, very similarly, they do not just only have like the full amount of HP that, you know, a regular troop will have, especially non-cloned. However, they are going to disappear. So they are kind of like a physical unit, but they will disappear over time. Unlike in Clash Royale, where it only will do, or it'll only have 1 HP. So you just really want to make sure that you guys understand that as you start going through with the clone spell. Now we're going to start moving on to the dark spells, and the dark spells are very, very good. And the first one we've got here is the poison. The poison spell is very, very useful. You get this one at Town Hall 8, and the poison spell allows you to basically take out certain, basically slow down those units. You want to make sure that they kind of get slowed down as they go through the poison, but that poison will also decrease their damage very little by little, but it will start going down a little bit more as it goes down. A max level poison is going to be enough to take out a baby dragon, and with the new update coming, there's a new level for it at Town Hall 12 at level 6, so it's definitely something to remember. Using one poison spell in a hog attack will mean that you're most likely going to be using it with the kill squad, but the poison can also be used on the back end to take out any skellies. And the main purpose of that is because you don't want the skellies to be constantly hitting your hogs and all of that. So you really want to make sure that you guys can actually start getting through the base with the hogs. And you just don't want them to be harassed by the skellies. And the poison spell is a very, very good one to use. And now we're going to jump into the earthquake. You also get this one at Town Hall 8. And the earthquake spell is a very, very good spell to be bringing, especially when the next update hits, as the range of it, the radius, is bigger by 0.3, and you may think that isn't much. However, that is going to be huge in terms of using it. You guys can use it mainly to open up bases, but you can also use it in the Zapquake, like I said before. When opening bases, very, very similarly to that jump spell, you are going to be able to open up compartments. But this time, instead of it being timed, you're going to be able to open it wide, which means you want to have a plan before you actually start using the earthquake spell. This is really prevalent in different attacks, even in Lalo, mainly Queen Walk Lalo, and even in mass baby dragon attack strategies. So you guys can definitely sort of play around with that earthquake spell, but the earthquake spell is very, very strong and something that I would definitely start using if you guys don't want to use a seed machine, or you're using like a stone slimer, you don't want to use that, or if you want to use a jump spell. So it's always up to you, but it's definitely a very strong option. Now the next spell that we've got is going to be the haste spell, and the haste spell is primarily used in mainly Lalo attacks, where the haste spell is going to be able to move troops into the base a little bit quicker. Unlike the rage, it does not have the damage buff or the hit speed buff, and instead what it has is it has a speed boost, with just like the rage spell. However, the haste spell does a better job, and it's something better to bring in terms of just a Lalo attack, because your Lalo, your loons, because they're slow, they're going to be able to start working into the base and making sure that they get to those defenses faster. So it's really the primary portion. And remember, in the next update, you guys can upgrade them to the next level, which I believe is level 5 at Town Hall 11. So definitely get those upgraded when the update hits. Now the next spell we're going to be talking about is the Skelly spell. I understand that the Skelly spell isn't being used as much. However, I hope that it will be after the nice buff it got with armored guards, or armored skeletons, aka guards. And this will really allow you to take out, the heroes without, using a troop to tank out a splash. It already tanks for the splash. And because there's so many of the guards, you are going to be able to start getting right through it. You may have to bring 2 this time because of its decreased. However, the skeleton spell is primarily used in taking out the queen in different attacks, mainly in Lalo attacks. So you're really going to be using that Skelly spell to really hammer on through the rest of the base. Also, if you're going to be using that Skelly spell, you may also want to use it in a Skelly donut to take out a good chunk of the base. Again, it depends on the base. However, it is a very good option to use, and it's definitely something that you guys shouldn't forget. Now, the last spell that we have here is going to be the Bat spell, and the Bat spell, as you guys have seen in previous videos, is very, very strong right now. The bats almost spawn like skeletons, however, they only target defenses, which means that you are either going to be able to use it in a Bat Bomb or Bat Wave. A Bat Bomb is when you have a Rage, a Freeze, and bats as they start going into the base, or you guys can use the Bat Wave and send it on the outside as the bats start moving in and start taking out defenses. Usually you see this in all my dragon video or all my bat spell videos, so you really want to kind of, take a look at that and learn that ability, since especially they are very, very strong like that. And they are fragile, they're just like skeletons, however, they are definitely something useful to use, especially in the current meta where bat spells reign supreme with different attacks like Drag Bat and P.E.K.K.A. Bobat. So hopefully I didn't miss anything, but hopefully if you guys did enjoy this video and did learn something, why not leave a like and subscribe? Let me know if this guide will help you guys. I know it was long, however, hopefully this guide will help you. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe for more of my content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss an upload. Also, if you guys want to go ahead and follow me on Twitter, you guys can. That link is going to be in the description below. And if you want to go ahead and share with your clanmates, that will always be appreciated so that they can become better attackers in Clash of Clans. Also, why not join the Exehumanity family Discord and my community Discord? Those links are also in the description below. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.